Hey everyone, Kuya Kicks here from Toy Bacon, and I'm here to do a quick comparison of the SH Figuarts, Captain America, Age of Ultron, and Civil War. This is not a full review, as Anthony's Customs and JC already did a great job, and I put their links in the description, but this is more of a comparison specifically for toy photographers and artists. So in regards to the figure itself, Anthony and Jay covered all the articulation, that this is not a repaint, and there have been some subtle sculpt and paint differences. So for the most part, again, I'm going to leave the figure out and focus on the interchangeable parts. When it comes to the hands, the previous version actually has 2 additional reaching hands, which are great for more detail in terms of if you're taking any sort of pictures. So something to consider. The shield itself has some slight paint differences, and the previous one actually has a little bit of paint etching, or I guess etching right around the star that you can see. The newer version actually has a flatter back, which I feel has it's just a lot easier to work with in terms of when you're slotting in all the interchangeable parts that it comes with. And speaking of those parts, when you actually compare the two, I like the detail of these almost mini leather straps versus the metal that they gave in the previous versions. And that goes for all of them, including the forearm guard over here, which I find, again, this one is a lot more easier to work with in terms of just sliding it around Cap's forearm to keep it in place, where I found this one would pop out from time to time when you're trying to actually pose it. Another reason why I like the pieces themselves in terms of the brown detail, in terms of the leather, is just from practicality, from a realism standpoint. The brown leather is a lot more practical in terms of what you'd think about when you think about the actual shield design. They wouldn't want to put additional metal on the vibranium shield in terms of the aerodynamics and weight. Again, something really small, but you know, when you're taking macro shots, sometimes these things come into a little bit of a detail. The standard hands are pretty much identical. Same goes for the shield throwing hands. The back mount, pretty much just the same, but they've altered it again to match the new color schemes. Again, I like the low profile of the brown versus the silver. And one thing, again, a reminder that everyone always calls out: be careful about those tiny little back pieces that come out of Cap's back. They are super small and really easy to lose. For the shield holding parts, again, they're pretty much identical. They've just modified it to work with the shield. But again, I really prefer the brown leather here, and I really appreciate the fact that they put the detail on this piece here. Now, in regards to the head, I just want to say that it's definitely a pro to have the just the Steve Rogers, unmasked head variant. But one thing that, again, the others have called out is just the difference in terms of the paint application. So this is a standard sort of paint job, where this is using the new like digital print, like more of a pixelated sort of look. Again, from far they look pretty much the same, but right when you get into the actual details themselves of getting really up close, I can't get the focus going on here, but you really start to see the pixelation in the eyes and the eyebrows. So for macro shots, that's pretty much going to kill it once you get really into those close-up sort of shots. The other thing I don't really like about the new face is the fact that it's kind of expressionless, and that goes for the one that's already mounted on here and the Steve Rogers head. So as a toy photographer, when you're trying to take down or shoot any action shots, it really takes a lot away from the shot in itself when you don't have something like the previous one, which has the not only the screaming face, from Cap into more of an action pose, but you also get the left, right, and center eye articulation pieces that you can swap out in the back over here. And another thing I just want to call out is that, contrary to some people thinking that you can't do a head swap with these two, again, the new one swaps out at the bottom of the neck, whereas the original one swaps out at the bottom of the head. But it's really easy to just pull this off and toss on the new head if you did want to put the Civil War head, or sorry, the Age of Ultron head on the Civil War body, and vice versa. All in all, the figures I think are great, and I recommend either for toy collectors, but specifically for toy photographers. I personally prefer the Age of Ultron figure. It speaks to me a little bit more, even with those two additional hands, and especially with the head options. So let me know what you think about it in the comments, and check out the links in the description. I'll add a couple other photo samples for you to check out. Thanks a lot.